Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's Charles, and I'm up here just about 15 kilometers maybe from Uzice, Serbia, here in western Serbia, and we're at a place called kako se kaže?
Kadinjaca.
Kadinjaca. I about said Kladionica, and that's a betting place. I couldn't remember. Anyway, we're at a very special place here, a very solemn place actually. This is a place that was built in 1979. Tito, who was able to make this the only republic in all of Serbia during the occupation of the Germans in World War II. He was able to kick them out of here, and they had their own little republic. This part here, they built this massive monument. It's in a couple different pieces. I'm going to show you. Behind me here, this big, huge sun-looking thing, this represents a new life, a new beginning. There was a lot of people killed here, and this just represents a new start to that. And you've got all these big stone columns. It's up on a hill. You notice we've had our first snow here in Serbia. The rest of Serbia, we haven't seen any snow, but up here we do. We have a little bit of snow. They've got nice little stone pathways here, and they keep it in really, really good shape. But it's in a couple different pieces. But this symbolizes a new beginning, and we're kind of going backwards into the little monument here. So we're at the far end and the new beginning. We'll show you the next part here in just a second. 3, 2, 1 or something. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're at the second part. Like I said, we're going from the end of this monument. It's a big, long monument here. We're in the second part of the monument here. And this part of the monument here, this represents, it looks like people that are bent over this way. But the reason it's looking like this, when they had this, when they were trying to defend the city of Uzice, they had Tito and all of his people, they thought the Germans was going to be coming from a different direction. But come to find out, the Germans kind of made some maneuver and instead went over by the Drina and came a different direction to surprise the city of Uzice and the troops. So Tito, they didn't have a whole lot of time to defend the city. He got weavers, shoemakers, just regular citizens of Uzice to come up here to protect the city. And this part where they're leaning over this way, that represents those people, those regular citizens that were fighting for the protection of their city, those looking toward the Germans, the advancing German soldiers right through this area. And the other side, you can see they're looking the other way. They're looking toward Uzice and toward the fleeing. These people here were to protect and hold off the Germans while the Serbian people fled Uzice and got out of there because Hitler had made a statement where he said, Hitler had stated that any Serbian that was left here, they were angry because it took him about 67 days, almost 70 days or whatever to get in here, and he was very angry, and he said, anybody that's left, they're dead. And so these people were looking to make sure all that the Serbian people were out of the city by the time the Germans were able to get in there. And once the Germans got in there, the city was empty. They fled the hospitals and all that stuff. So kind of that's this portion of here, and that's what it means. We're right here in the center of this beautiful monument park here. And this part back here, you can see it says Heroes of Kadinjaca. It's hard to say, Izvini. But this is the monument here right in the center, right on the highest point here. And underneath this monument, which was built in 1951, the people of Uzice and the surrounding areas went and picked up all the bones for all those people that passed away. It was 122 people that were actually killed on this part here. Actually, it was down the hill just a little bit, but they collected all the bones and they buried them right under this monument that was erected in 1951. And so that's what this is right here, to commemorate all those regular citizens, not soldiers, just regular people that were here to fight and to, protect and help get rid of all the people in Uzice to keep them from getting slaughtered by the oncoming Germans. So a very solemn, kind of sad place, but it's part of history. Only of all these people that were here, all these regiments that were fighting against the Germans, only one little regiment were able to escape without being killed, and they fled off up into the hills over that way. So that's it. Right here, this is the center. We're standing on this big circle. This represents Uzice Republic and how it was actually separate, and it was the only place that was liberated during the German occupation of Serbia. And it's a big circle here. Around it, you've got these little walls and these little stairs, and this represents the boundaries, the borders around Uzice Republic. It's really, really pretty now, too. You've got a lot of snow and everything out here. you can see long distances over the little fog, and that's what I love about this part of Serbia. It's way better than Vojvodina, look-wise anyway. You know, Vojvodina is very, very flat, and up here in Uzice, we're up on this hill. You can see all that fog, all that little bits of snow. Absolutely gorgeous part of the country. And this part was very, very special to Tito. And I know those watching, there's a lot of, you know, Serbia is a very, very divided place. There was the partisans, the Chetniks, and all that stuff. But this is part of history of your country. I didn't specifically like George W. Bush, but George Bush is part of our history. So you got to talk about it a little bit. And I know people are going to yell and complain, but that's just the way it is. And, you know, Tito, this was a very special monument to him that he had erected. The first part was in 1951, the part with all the bones. The rest of it was built in 1979, and they said his last appearance here in Serbia, public appearance before he passed away in 1980, late 1979, whenever it was, but his last appearance was here because he felt very attached to this area and to all these 122 people, regular people, that defended the rest of the city and allowed him and all those people in the hospitals and the different things to escape certain death from the Nazis. So, like it or not, that's part of it. Do widzenia. Here we are at the other portion, the far portion of this park here, and behind me you can see this cannon right here. This was the only cannon that these Serbians had to defend the city of Uzice that was up here. And you can see it's got the old wooden wheels, and it's pointed in the direction of the architect who designed this here. He had it pointed toward the Germans, toward the oncoming Germans. And we're right in the center. This little area here is called 88 Tree Park, which represents 88 trees that were planted in honor of Joseph Tito, the guy we talked about just a few moments ago that was in charge of this. The students in the area planted these 88 trees in honor of him. Really pretty place. Down here you can see you've got these different cannons. 3 different cannons here that represent the Germans, and you can see the difference in style. They had rubber wheels, they had rubber tires, metal wheels, while the Serbian 1 cannon had the wooden wheels. You've got one there, another one over here in the center, but they're pointing in the direction of Uzice. So it's kind of to show you a little bit of the advancing, the locations of which directions the Germans were coming from and such. Great place. You know, a great place just to think about all the sadness and all the, you know, the struggle that these people went through to protect their city and the loss of life. And, you know, it really makes you think. That's it. Pozdrav.
Yes, that's
Super.
right. Hey, what do you think? I'm recording again.
Šta?
I quit.
Oh.